Jamie Pennel was sent on 4 deployments to Afghanistan. In 2011, he was part of the unit which responded to the Taliban's Intercontinental hotel siege. He was awarded the New Zealand Gallantry Star, which is the country's second highest military honour, for his bravery. 18 years on, Jamie's ready to share his story about what really happened that day in his new book, Serviceman. His story reveals the unique culture of resilience and camaraderie within the SAS and the subsequent alienation that this can create when soldiers return home. Man, it's an interesting return, isn't it? Jamie, nice to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, really pleasure to meet you. And thank you for taking us into Afghanistan in 2010 with John Key. Got there safely. God, I saw what you guys did.
Awesome.
Sort of what you did. And I've read your book. Great book. It takes us right into the front line. Can you tell us about the Intercontinental Hotel that day?
How long have we got?
Yeah,
it's an hour. It's an hour. It's about an hour if I want to run through it. If you want me the short version,
mate, I'll chill out.
Let me go.
Yeah, we're online. We can do whatever you like. You know.
All right. All right.
I know the siege was 10 hours, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a long time, and I'll make it short, as short as I can. It takes a long time. It's a lot of stuff. So, I guess when I go through the story, I'll be talking about a whole lot of different groups that are manoeuvring at the same time. So I'll sort of jump in and out a little bit.
Sure.
And if I waffle too much, just let me know. So on the 28th of June, 2011, at about 10 o'clock, I was woken up. Rudely, I might say, from my sleep by one of the SIG operators, and he said to me, "Hey, Jamie, I think you better get up. There's something big going on in the city." I was a ground commander at the time on that particular tour. So I got my slippers on, shuffled over to the Tactical Operations Centre, or the TOC, and sat in the back of the room with the senior national officer. Now, in the Tactical Operations Centre, there's a lot of stuff going on, particularly at that point in time, because something was happening in the city, something big, a spectacular attack was occurring. We had a couple of screens that were up. One of them was on Fox News, good for giving us immediate sort of eyes on about what's happening, probably not the information that we're interested in, more the visuals. And then we had a ISR platform above the hotel, an intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance aircraft, which was giving us the thermal imagery of what was happening. So we had a look at that. Basically, they'd been looking at it for about 5 minutes and said there was a number of people on the roof. There's a lot of shooting going on. The Afghan National Police had ring-fenced the hotel, the Intercontinental Hotel, which has no linkage to the international brand. But they had ring-fenced us, and I could go in or out. They were in a gun battle at that particular point in time with the terrorists on the roof. They looked heavily armed. They're using automatic weapons, and they're firing rockets off the top of the roof as well. Now,
and they had suicide vests on as well.
Yeah, and we found that out later. I guess bit strange to say, but it's not unusual to see that in Afghanistan. And spectacular attacks in Kabul. A number of them happened on my previous tour, and this was no different.
So 1 minute you're asleep, next minute you're told to get in there and sort it out.
Yeah. So
is that frightening?
Not really. It's quite matter of fact. I mean, the funny thing was, and I said to the SNO at the time, who's down there? Is the CRU being activated? The CRU, or the Crisis Response Unit, was a force that we were partnering at the time, so we're training and enabling them to do operations. And he said, there's 2 squadrons down there with our mentors. So that was another group that we had just training the CRU down at Camp Olympus and out west of the city. So they were already down there, and I said, well, there's two CRU squadrons down there. I think, they can handle it. And he said, no, I still want you to go down with some specialist capability to help them out. And I was sort of, in two minds. I'd been with the CRU on a previous tour for 7 months, so I kind of knew what they could do, but we were still building that capability. Got the boys together, gripped them up, and started heading down to the hotel. At night in Afghanistan, the curfew starts at about 10 o'clock, so you don't see many people on the street. There's checkpoints in place, so we made good speed down to the hotel. Got out of our vehicles about 400 metres short of the hotel, which was where the outer cordon was. So you got an outer cordon and an inner cordon just for control, and started making our way up the road. The only reason why we didn't drive the vehicles all the way to the top was that we're in full view of the hotel, and we could have got hit potentially or taken fire from the guys on the roof. Walked up, got to the incident control point. At the incident control point, we had the CRU CO, we had the Minister of Interior was there. and a number of representatives from or commanders for the AMP.
And the hotel's full of guests as well.
Yeah, everyone's in there, locked up in their rooms and not knowing what's going on. I mean, they're making sense of it about that point. So so a lot of the commanders were there. Got a quick brief from the CIU, and I said, "Hey, are we going to get shot going up to the hotel?" And I'm not talking about from the terrace set on the roof. I was worried about the Afghan National Police. Like, tell them that we're coming up the road because I don't want to get a few shots off.
Yeah, they might think you're enemy fire.
Yeah, that's right. So we went up there with the CIU leading because they have the communications. Got up there as soon as we got up to where the inner cordon was. The Afghan National Police and the terrorists on the roof started getting into a gun battle again. Now again, this is something that we can handle, but the problem was that a lot of those rounds and rockets were firing high, and they're firing into the neighbourhood around the hotel. So, innocent families are in their house trying to go to sleep. They've probably got kids and bits and pieces.
You have to crawl through this hotel to get to the roof.
Yep.
So every corner you go around, there could be a nut job there waiting to take your head off.
Yeah, 100%.
And someone did line you up and didn't shoot, did they?
Not me personally. A lot of stuff was happening in the hotel. Once we got on there, we found that, and this is where we talked about the suicide vest. Once we got into the hotel, one of the terrorists had already been shot by a security guard in the initial attack. When our mentors got down to the hotel, they went up the stairs and started taking rounds from a security guard. The CIU were level-headed, called out to him and said, "Hey, identify yourself." He said, "I'm a security guard." They said, "Hey, we're security forces, come forward." And he had pissed himself, obviously, but he'd done the right thing and knocked this guy over. That's when we knew what we're dealing with. He had a suicide vest on. He had an AK-47. He had grenades, he had energy drinks, he had new shoes.
Is this the Taliban, is it?
A group of Taliban from, they're trained across the Pakistan border and handled by Haqqani, which is another terrorist group, so a mixture. Inside the hotel, it was very dark. We had to... I took sort of a gauge of where we're at. The CIU had not done any high-rise options, as in, a hotel,
training,
something as big. They've done all sort of, single-level, multi-level type operations, high-risk arrests. So I looked around and thought to myself, they're probably underdone. We decided to take the lead, so I put our guys in front with our MBGs, started moving into the hotel and started making our way around. First thing we saw, moving down the first corridor to the left, was an internet room. Unfortunately, they'd killed someone who was, tapping on the computer, doing an email. Went around there, checked to see if he was, alive or dead. He was gone.
And in your book, it was a very good book, he slumped up against the wall.
Yeah, slumped up against the wall. He'd been, writing an email to whoever, and so I left him there. We naturally sort of made our way around to the left. We didn't have schematics of, what the hotel layout was. We're pretty much doing it by feel in the dark, but we kind of went around into the main kitchen area, and behind that was where the fire stairs were, the northern fire stairs, by a stroke of luck. So it was at that point we decided that we'll just start clearing the floors as we made our way up to the roof. Started getting about that, but it was just taking too much time, and there was still a significant amount of fire that was coming off the top of the roof. And again, obviously lives are in danger in the inner cordon, but also out into the neighbourhood, and we had to take stock of that. So we decided, let's just go straight to the top of the roof. We'll get the CIU to sort of hold the stairwell just in case anyone comes out of the floors. Clear that, and then retrospectively start going through the hotel, clearing.
And you couldn't get in the door. You couldn't get to the roof because the door was locked.
Yeah, that was later on. But an interesting event happened in the stairwell as we made our way up. We got up to the fourth floor, I think it was, and Steve Askin, who was the lead assaulter, he rounded a corner on the stairwell and basically came face to face with the first terrorist. Now, they both fired. Steve hit the mark. He didn't. Don't know where those rounds went, but because of the adrenaline, he sort of dropped on the ground. They got up straight away and sprinted to the top of the roof.
Yeah.
Once he got out on the roof, and we saw later from the ISR platform, he basically sort of lay on the roof, One of the other terrorists came over to him. They had a bit of a discussion, and then they must have said, "Hey, I'm gonna blow myself up." And he kind of helped us out because the terrorists that had talked to him and then moved away to give him space to blow himself up, came around, and just as he clacked himself off, he took out the other guys, so he did us a favour.
Wow. So these guys in the end didn't want to be shot by you, they wanted to go under their own steam, so they blew themselves up? You put them under pressure, then they'll clack themselves off if they think you're close because they want to take you out, and obviously they want to be martyrs. When we're in at that particular point in time, once he had blown himself up, or even before that, so the Stephen, the initial contact, once he started running up the stairwell, we started taking quite a heavy weight of fire in the stairwell, coming down, followed by grenades. The first grenade that was thrown landed at Steve's feet. He turned around, yelled grenade, and started running out into the fourth floor. But like that grenade was attached to Steve by a string, it followed him all the way out into the fourth floor, detonated behind him, dropped him on his behind, and put a bit of shrapnel up at his back, arms and legs. So we started trying to call out to him at the same time, trying to win the firefight in the stairwell against another terrorist that was high up, right up the top of the stairwell there, out onto the roof. He's putting a bit of weight down on us, put a bit of a weight of fire down on us. So we had a lot of things going on in there. I don't know how long we were in there for. I wasn't registering time. I mean, the whole 10 hours of this entire operation went by in a heartbeat. So yeah. Without you guys, how many tourists, or how many tourists? Who goes to Kabul for tourism? But how many people were inside?
Terrorists.
But so lots of diplomats and whatever. Yeah. How many people were in the building?
There was anywhere between 60 and 70. We don't know the actual final count. They'd killed anywhere between 12 and 17 in the initial attack, and we're up against 9 terrorists. Yeah,
and you saved lives of the others. I mean, you guys are heroes, and I know a lot of focus has gone on Willie Apiata and what he did, and it was amazing what he did. But equally, what you guys did too, after reading your book, and God, I could have read it a second time too, just ran out of time. But it's incredible, and as a fellow New Zealander, congratulations and thank you for what you did.
Yeah, no worries.
And you got awarded the second medal, didn't you, the Gallantry Star? I reckon you should have got a VC, Victoria Cross.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I don't make those decisions. The medal doesn't make the man. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's 10 hours of my life. That's all it really represents, and I've got a lot more stuff that I want to get onto.
Yeah, how did you stay? When you seem so calm telling me the story now, can you sort of?
Yeah, I could keep going on, but it's matter of fact.
But you're so you are matter of fact. And how do you stay calm in those situations? You're dark in the hotel with no lights on. People have died. There's terrorists shooting guns. My God, I mean, it's superhuman stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, well, if we talk about being in flow, challenge will do that. Acute challenge or any type of critical incident where maybe your life is in danger. And as I said in my book, is that I found myself kind of in the middle of the battle there, just completely calm, like literally sitting on the couch watching a movie on a Sunday.
My goodness.
Having a Coke, calm, and that
oh my goodness.
That was like I just recognised it in one particular moment. And the other thing that was happening within that, because flow can do amazing things, is that I could see everything in 3 dimensions. I knew what was happening below me. My mind was visually putting together an image where I could see what the CRU were doing below me. I could hear rounds going off the roof backwards and forwards with the helo sniping platform that we had circling the building, so I could see that. And I just made my decision making very simple and well considered. Yeah, the clarity. Yeah,
which is incredible for us listening to this, because the terrorists are probably the ones that are irrational. What's going through their minds? Do you try and put yourself into their shoes? Do you have to picture what they're going through and tell yourself what they're going through?
Essentially, as a commander, we're trying to get inside their OODA loop. I don't know if you've heard that before, but it's basically getting inside their decision-making process. So we're obviously communicating, hearing, seeing what they're actually doing, and I'm trying to orient myself and get into an action position before they can make their next move. So we're trying to disrupt their momentum as well and disrupt their initiative. So we want to gain and retain the initiative when we're in battle, and so this is why we made the decision. right from the get-go to get up on the roof, put the pressure on them, get them on us, and get their minds off what they were potentially going to do to the guests inside the hotel.
For lack of a better phrase, you didn't piss around, did you? You got to the roof as quick as you could.
No, we're not mucking around. We had to get up there. We had to have speed and get them focused on us as soon as possible. And and by design, we want to do it. You know what I mean?
And when you came out of the hotel, I think there was an international photographer got some pictures of you coming up. And I think your commander, you got told off for having your picture taken. How are you meant to exit the bloody building? Here you are. You've just saved all these lives. And you're a naughty boy
with a mask on. The general rule is sort of go out with your mask on, because there will be reporters around. I mean, we knew that. I knew that. But to be honest, after 10 hours, and the amount of stuff, my mind was elsewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The first thing was I already had a guy, that I needed to take to hospital. A lot of things that happened up till that point. And the last thing I was worried about was putting a mask on my face. But
what was it like?
Got to play the game.
Well, I sat on a plane for 6 hours to head into Kabul with a bunch of you guys who just sat there quietly reading all these notes and diagrams and all sorts of things. They didn't talk, just focused. And
that's
then
nice.
Yeah, that's fine. There's no in-flight service. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then you do all that incredible work, and then you come back to your own country and back into domestic life. Yeah, here we go. Here's the kids and the wife, and how hard is that?
It's very difficult. The speed at which you move out of being on call in an intense operational environment like that is, it's very, very fast. I mean, I found myself outside the gates of camp, kind of maybe 2, maybe 3 days after coming off call, having been in in that environment. And I remember coming in at night, and I was just sitting outside, and I was thinking, am I dreaming? Because your brain's still 3/4 of the way back there. You're trying to integrate, and so
there's all that trauma and stuff that you have to process.
Yeah, and you're still registering threat. You know what I mean? You're still watching your back, and now you don't have weapons. You know what I mean? But you got to change the mindset from being in a threat-based environment to non-threat based. And then so that I found that very strange. And even when I went home, I was thinking, man, am I dreaming? It takes weeks.
And do you get help? Do you have to take the kids to school and that sort of thing? And you're meant to be, this loving, calm dad who hasn't even been to Afghanistan.
Yeah. The military provide all the support that you need for reintegration. But it does come down to the individual to seek help when they need to as well. It's a two-way street, you know what I mean? Like, you can't, being in the regiment, I'm always going to talk to the brothers, because at the end of the day, they've been there with me, and so,
And a couple of questions to finish. You went to Government House, you got awarded your Gallantry Star. Was that a proud moment?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I hold that award on behalf of the team. It wasn't a I moment. It's a we moment. And, I was lucky enough to go away on that particular tour with an A team. It was one of those situations where, they made me look good as a leader. And so I hold that for them.
Was it hard to leave?
Yeah, very difficult. Yeah, it's blood, sweat and tears to get in there, a considerable amount of energy and focus, one of the hardest things you ever do in your life, bar none. Trying to extract yourself from that culture, having done all that hard work, having all those experiences was difficult, but when I made the decision, I knew I had to go. And
why?
Because I was burnt out.
Yeah.
I was burnt out for a start, and I was slowly starting to recognise that, but it took a long time. My son was born. My wife is highly ambitious, so I'm not going to hold her back from her life goals as well. So a lot of things came into that mix, and I sort of early on in my career in the military, I decided that if I was going to make it that far, that 40 was about the age that I was going to start making a decision whether I was going to stay or give it my full commitment, and that date arrived.
Does it go through? Final question: does it go every day that you're out there doing normal things now? You work at? Is it Dilworth? You're Dilworth, yeah. Every day that goes by, do you think about stuff that you did, or have you sort of it's gone from your mind?
Yeah, just flashes in and out. Yeah, definitely. It's not one of those. It's burned into my brain, but I think I just take lessons from it and help people understand what it means, what I learned.
Yeah, what I saw over there, we're true professionals. We're at the top of our game. Appreciate everything you've done for over the years. Just tell us about the book. Just name the book. The book is called
Serviceman J.
Yep.
It's a book about me, but it's a book about people I serve with. It's about selection, the training, the operations that I went on. What you'll find in comparison to other military books is that you'll be sitting on my shoulder on these operations. You'll smell it, hear it, feel it. And then the long road to transition out and how I cope with that.
I fully recommend it, so get out there and buy it. It's at the good bookseller, isn't it?
Yep.
Good on you. And nice to meet you, Jamie.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate
the opportunity.
You're very welcome. Very welcome.
Duncan Garner.